Right, so I'm going to talk to you guys about how to pressure wash a house the right way. And I want to tell you guys, first of all, that way before there was pressure washers ever existed, there was good paint jobs. So a lot of people seem to think that if you don't pressure wash your house, you do a shitty paint or you do a bad paint job. And I'm going to tell you that that's not true. It just the house has to be clean to a certain degree. It doesn't matter how you do it. So if you're a homeowner and you don't have a pressure washer, there's no real need to go out and rent one. I'm going to show you how you can do it without that, with just using your garden hose. And if you have an extension, it really does help. But the main thing you need to do when you're is right here. You see that dirt that's along the bottom of that house? You can't paint over that. Okay. The other thing that you can't paint over is usually if you have boxed in eaves like these, dirt builds up behind there, and that should be well removed. You can't have thick dirt and paint over it. Exterior paints are designed to go over the surface that's not 100% clean like your dishes. Okay, so a lot of people think you got to go through and scrub the house. They get just crazy on trying to do too much over prep and spending a lot of time. I was watching a video online, and a guy made up a bleach and I don't even know what the other cleaners, some sort of soap solution, and we used a garden sprayer and went around the house and sprayed on this bleach and soap solution. If you were in Los Angeles City, just so you know, if you got caught doing that, you could probably get a fine. I'm just saying, that's some of that stuff I'm seeing on YouTube is not correct information. Does the house need to be that clean? Not really. Does that help? Maybe if you had a greasy wall, like right here, there's some exhaust that blew on a wall. You want to use a little cleaning solution on something like that. But you don't need to do the entire outside of the house. You're not cleaning your dishes. You're washing down the house to paint it. So let's talk about a little bit more about this. If you're a homeowner and you don't have a pressure washer, this is a great way to wash down your house. This is a fire hose, we call them, or they call them a pressure nozzle or washing pole. And it's really nice when it's on a long pole like this because you can reach up really high and get closer to those gables to get that dirt off. So the problem with using one of these, especially as a contractor, is you use a lot of water, and you use a lot more water than you do with the pressure washer. And the reason that the pressure washer is good to use is because it uses pressure and less water. So a lot of people miss that one. They think, well, pressure washer uses more water than washing without a pressure washer, and that's not true either. You use a lot more water when you go with like a washing pole with a fire hose like this. But if you're a homeowner and you want to clean up your house to paint it, this can be a great way. The main thing is behind those eaves. You really want to get the house clean. If you have really rough stucco, let's go look at some stucco. So if you have stucco like this, for instance, a lot of times what happens is the dirt will kind of get on the tops and sometimes even underneath and gather in there on this type of stucco, especially if it's raw. If it's been painted, usually you don't get quite as much dirt in there. The main purpose you're trying to do is kind of get that dirt off of there, the heavier dirt, so that the paint will adhere. So the thing that's good about a pressure washer is it uses pressure and less water to do the job. And with water being a shortage in a lot of places, it is kind of good to use a pressure washer. One of the comments I got on this hose right here from somebody is, well, I use this hose. This is a Goodyear hose, fire hose, and one of the comments I got was this does not have enough water supply. And I have a 13 horsepower 3700 psi, 4 gallons per minute, and that's about as big as pressure washers I've seen. I've seen ones a little bit bigger than that. We used to use one that was quite a bit bigger, and I never have this hose kink. It never runs out enough water supply because this hose itself is capable of putting out way more than 4 gallons per minute. So if you have a problem with one of these hoses that's sucking shut, it's probably because the supply is not putting out enough water. And what's happening is your machine is sucking the hose shut because the supply is not putting out enough water. So if on the other end of this, if your hose bib doesn't have very much supply pressure, then that will make this hose want to suck shut. I've never had this hose suck shut, by the way. I just want to say that. So I use this type of hose because this type of hose can be picked up very easily, can be furled up, and it can be put in your truck very easily. This is a Goodyear hose. They have these at Home Depot. They are a little more expensive than the regular hose, but they work very well. I've had no issues with kinking. It doesn't expand. It's not that expanding hose. It's not that type of hose at all. And I've not had any problems with kinkage or anything like that with this hose, with this unit. So keep that in mind. If you're skeptical on buying one of those, I haven't had the problem. Some of the guys had comments, and you know, I don't know what the issue was with them, because whatever they were doing, something was different than what I'm doing. So anyway, so the things you want to do when you pressure wash to do it the right way is the other things you're going to do. If you're going to pressure wash, the thing that's nice about if you're not using a pressure washer, if you're just using a regular hand pull like this, is you get that volume of water on the wall, and the volume of water is what's going to do the job, not the pressure. So when you're pressure washing, though, you need to be pretty close to the area. So I've seen a lot of guys say they pressure wash a house in an hour, and literally I don't see how it's possible to do it properly and do it in an hour. Some houses you can, but I'm talking about a big 2-story house. The guy had like a 4,000 square foot house on YouTube. He says, oh, I pressure washed this in an hour. And I'm like, yeah, you got it wet, but you didn't really pressure wash it. So let's talk about what you need to do. So a couple of pieces of equipment that you're probably going to need is an extension pole, unless you want to use a ladder to go around the whole house. And pressure washing in a ladder can be pretty dangerous, because when you pull that trigger, there's a lot of pressure there, and that pressure can pull you off that ladder real easily. So you want to make sure you wrap an arm through if you're going on a ladder to pressure wash. So if you want to do it without that, you use one of these long extensions. Let's take a look how this works. So if you have a gable like this here, and well, the actual wand would reach this no problem, but I'm just going to use this as an example. If you have a gable, you want to be nice and close to your area like such to clean your stuff off so that the pressure can do its job. And one of these extension poles like this can do that. It can get you up closer to the area so that your pressure can actually clean the wall. So this is an above the roof gable. when you do one of these, you should have a ladder set up. You should be able to go up in the, against the wall and be nice and close to your work, and wash it down really clean, and use the pressure so you're able to be close enough to let the pressure do the work, not the volume of water. One of the nice things about a 4 gallon per minute unit is it has enough water volume that will actually help you if you can't get as close to something. So that's one of the benefits about having a larger unit. If you aren't able to use a pressure washer and you have to do it by hand, again, you can still do a good job. You can actually even do this one maybe from the ground. Now, you're not going to be able to get the back side of that fascia, but this wall you could actually get from the ground, because what you're using is the volume of water, not the pressure. So as long as you get the job done, it doesn't matter how you do it. That's what needs to be done for pressure washing. One more area I didn't cover because we don't have that much of it here is mold and mildew. That should be removed, or any kind of green moss should be removed, and it does help to really have a pressure washer. If you don't have a pressure washer, you can use a wire brush. That works pretty good. And then the wall should be treated with a actual mold and mildew removing product. They have one called XR14. It comes in a spray bottle. You spray that on, and that actually treats the mold. Now, there's ways to buy that stuff in larger volumes. I'm not totally aware of it. Like I said, we don't have that much of that. And some guys are using bleach to remove it. Now, if you look up online, you'll find that bleach is not really the proper product to get rid of mold. So you might want to check into that a little bit further if you're having that type of issue where you live, and find out what the actual product is that gets rid of it. But I've used this, I think it's XR14. They have it at some of the paint stores. That stuff does work really well, especially like if you're doing bathrooms and kitchen, bathrooms where they, have hot showers and stuff like that. I've had that stuff just stop that stuff dead, and it's gone forever. They also have additives. If let's say you can't get it all off, there's a mold and mildew additive that you can add to your paint, and in those areas you can go ahead and add that mildew proofer in there, and that will also help stop it from coming back. So just some food for thought. A few more things about pressure washing, get you guys in the right direction. I'm not going to be doing a demo on this. I think that I can't really properly explain it and demo it at the same time with this loud machine. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.